Andile Khumalo is a chartered accountant, CEO of Khumalo Co., as well as founder of I Am an Entrepreneur. Andile, your 5 minutes starts now.
Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you so much for your time. And it's 12:42, and I'm a former radio man, so I know how to make sure I stop talking just before the news. So I will make sure I shut up by 12:47. My name is Andile Khumalo. Thanks for the introduction, Ashraf. I've worked with many of you already on the platform around the world of entrepreneurship, and that's really where I want to focus my contribution on. If you want to talk about, in 5 minutes, what do we need to create a champion nation, I'm sure all of us could talk about many different elements. So I'm going to stick into the world of business, which is where I've spent most of my career. And I think that fundamentally our problem is that we have a commercial or business system that is not going to help us solve the problems we have. So as you all know, we talk about inequality being the biggest challenge we've got in South Africa. We talk about the legacy of apartheid and what it's done to the dignity of our people, but what is also done into socioeconomic inequalities we have. We all know that. We all wax lyrical about it. Every year, the Gini coefficient comes and they tell us we're either number 1 or 2 in inequality. Yet we have a business and commercial system that has nothing to do with inequality. We have a commercial system that's run on the basis of capitalism. And capitalism will tell you a few fundamentals that just don't work about dealing with inequality, right? So everything is about who deserves to be there, who's worked hard enough. There's no relationship between your progress and the realities of the history and the place that you come from. And I want to focus that for me as my kind of principal contribution to the conversation. I think that for us to build the champion nation we want for ourselves, we need to re-look at our commercial system. How does commerce run in South Africa? How does the South African economy operate? And does the way it operates serve us? Does it serve the objectives that we have for ourselves? And I will give you one good example in the world of entrepreneurship. So I work with a lot of entrepreneurs across the country. Thanks, AB, for the wonderful mention. And thanks to some of the people I see here that have just agreed to be part of the I'm an Entrepreneur Advisory Boards program. And I can tell you for free, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest problem we've got in entrepreneurship in South Africa is not money, it's not capital, and I'll prove it to you. The biggest challenge we have is skills. We don't have enough entrepreneurs that are skilled enough to build sustainable businesses. So the government and the banks came up with a 200 billion rand scheme that was out there to help businesses that were going through distress during COVID. You're all aware of it. So some of the 200 billion was guaranteed by government, but all of the lending and all of the processing was going to go through the banks. Now, the banks are regulated entities, as you know. They take our deposits, they lend that money out in the hope to get it back, notwithstanding that a small portion of it is guaranteed by the Reserve Bank. Now, here you've got 200 billion rand that's meant to go out there and save businesses. And then what happened? You would have seen the headlines about a week ago. 17.8 billion rand was put out. 17.8, less than 10% of 200 billion. We now have a vaccine trying to make its way into the world. Only 8.5% made it through to the entrepreneurs. Now, you might look at that and go, oh, ineptitude, people are unskilled, they don't know what they're doing, oh, useless, banks are useless, even government may be useless. No, it's actually a very simple calculation. That money was there for businesses that were operating, that were sustainable, that were already running pre-COVID. It was a very clear requirement. Number two, these are businesses that needed to display that they would be sustainable with the help that they get post-COVID, whatever that means nowadays. The truth of the matter is that the majority of those businesses are not there. The majority of those businesses belong to a very minority group. That is also the reason why it lends itself the argument of Black people not being as active in the world of business. So what's the point I'm trying to make? I'm saying, one, the problem is that we don't have enough sustainable businesses. The reason we don't have enough sustainable businesses is that we don't have enough skills, especially at early stage. The second reason is because most of the funding that makes its way to businesses is debt. This 200 billion rand must be paid back. Now, the majority of early stage businesses that are started by the majority of our people are early stage, and they need equity. They need patient capital that will help them be able to get to a point of success. So why do we go on and on about equality when we're coming with interventions that don't solve the problems we have? They solve the problems maybe we wish we had. We wish we had tons of businesses that are owned by Black, whites, men, women that just needed help during COVID and they'll be fine. The truth is, most medium-sized businesses are white-owned, family-owned businesses, and they're not Black-owned, family-owned businesses. That's because to build that part of entrepreneurship, you need equity and you need skills. You need to be able to empower people with the ability to run and grow sustainable businesses. It's 12:47. It's not time for the news, Ashraf Gada. It is time for me to stop talking. So I would say, if anybody out there in your own walk of life, I absolutely believe in agency. I believe that the best difference we're all going to make is the differences we make in our own little spaces. We just need to learn how to collaborate. So I'm your guy when it comes to entrepreneurship. I'm your guy in trying to have the right voice in the conversations and come up with these schemes that I could have told them for free were never going to work. Not because banks are bad people, not because government is a bad person, just because we are coming up with solutions that don't solve the problems we have. Thank you very much.
Okay, well, there you are. So I was going to say you were spot on with time, and then you crashed the news by giving the last part. But great, thanks for accommodating, Andile. And I think we need that. We are trying to make sure that we can get everybody on board. We're probably going to end at 1:30 the way I see it, but thanks for that. But I think that point about collaboration, entrepreneurship, building great business, building great families. But I mean, I followed the I'm an Entrepreneur most Saturdays when you've had that, and I would strongly suggest most people hook into that. I think it is so inspiring, the type of work that's being done together with yourself and guys like Pablo Patides, right? So really, really important stuff, Andile. Great to have you on board.